Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Death Note 2017. So Death Note 2017 is the live-action Death Note remake by Netflix. And I watched it this weekend with my wife, and I very much enjoyed it. I really, really liked it a lot. Now, why did I enjoy Death Note 2017? The reason I enjoyed Death Note 2017 very much is I never read the manga, and I never watched the anime, and I never watched the Japanese live action. Now, my son is a big Death Note fan, and he has done all of that. He has read the manga, he watched the anime, and he has watched the Japanese live action, okay? So, so basically, my review of this is, I would say it's 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it a lot as a story, okay? And by the way, spoiler free. So we'll keep this spoiler free. So basically, you have this situation where, so let's start. So I really liked the story. I thought it was great. 4 out of 5 stars. And now I really don't want to talk very much about the Death Note story here. And the reason why is I am absolutely fascinated by the meta of Death Note 2017. And there's a big meta story around Death Note 2017. So I think Death Note 2017 is a very important film, okay? And the reason why is it dropped on Netflix on Friday, and there was a lot of buzz, and people were like, oh yeah, that sounds interesting. And the reason why is I think a ton of people are aware of Death Note, and the reason why is it's an anime icon. It's really an anime icon. By the way, I don't really feel there are many, if any, manga icons in America. Anime is a niche community, and it's a big one. It's fairly large, but it's still a niche. It's a niche community within American entertainment, and manga is a fraction of that. So I understand that manga is the source through which all this flows, but anime is where it really hits American viewers, right? So this was absolutely fascinating, and so I think it was a brilliant idea for Netflix to do what they did here. They did a solid investment. They clearly spent tens of millions, I'm sure. I'm not sure of the exact budget, but this is just like their other projects, like War Machine and a series of unfortunate events. They wrote a big check to a bunch of really talented, up-and-coming actors and directors, Hollywood directors, and they got a product back a really unique product back that they could put on Netflix exclusively. And that, and then that's supposed to drive Netflix traffic. And I think this is going to be very successful. Now, I want to talk about the elephant in the room. So, my son, I said, are you going to watch this? And he's like, no, I have no interest in seeing that. And the reason why was he cares about that property. And he knows, and I have to say, I think he's right. I think Death Note and a lot of other projects, I've come to the point where we just need to accept it. Hollywood has absolutely no ability to bring forward a faithful remake of anything. They just don't. And the reason why is the mechanics of it. If you're going to get really talented people in Hollywood, they're really going to be, in order to even survive in Hollywood, you have to be a fighter, right? And so everybody who's going to make it to the top to be involved in a multi-million-dollar project, they're going to be so independent and so fierce that there's no way they're going to just I'm going to trace and copy this other material. They're going to bring their own ideas into it, and by the time they're done with it, it's not going to resemble what it was originally. Another thing is, even if you get a spot-on recreation of a movie or a television, or if you remake something and you're spot on, the true fans, air quotes there, the most dedicated fans are still going to reject it. To this day, I don't think anybody has ever done a better recreation of Lord of the Rings, and a better recreation of anything. The Lord of the Rings is the most faithful Hollywood creation of a book series that's ever been done. And if you talk to any serious Lord of the Rings fan, all you're going to hear is, where's Tom Bombadil? The Hobbit was too long, blah, 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 right? And I mean, Peter Jackson clearly loved that property, and he was careful, and he was respectful, right? And still people whined, right? So I really just, so basically my point is, from now on, with all these projects, when Hollywood goes into a remake, we need to see them as Elseworld, right? DC's Elseworlds. So, like, there's a great DC Elseworld comic book where Batman fights the Pope. You know, like, it's completely out of DC's canon, and, it's so wonky and different that you're just like, hey, let's go into this. Let's use the Batman character. This is going to be completely different than DC canon, but let's just embrace it for what it is and just see it as a unique twist, right? And that's what all Hollywood remakes need to be taken. You cannot look for a faithful recreation of something from Hollywood, because it's impossible for them to do, and it's impossible for true fans for serious fans. Serious is the right word, not true. For serious fans to take serious, to give these projects any slack. It's just, we're never going to get there, right? So Death Note. Here's the review for Death Note. If you're a serious Death Note fan, don't touch this, because it's not faithful. My son explained that to me. He ticked him off. He watched. He partially watched this. He just watched it when he was in and out of the room, right? And he's like, they have Light wrong. They have Light Fuller wrong. They have they have Elle wrong. They have Mia Sutton wrong. All of them, like all the major characters. He said Ryuk, they nailed it, right? But everybody else, they got it wrong, right? And so serious fans, don't go anywhere near Death Note 2017. But get this, I'm sorry, serious Death Note fans. There's so few of you. Like, what's it matter, right? So here's the issue. Anime is a niche culture in America. The people who read Death Note is another slice of anime. Now, it's fairly large. A lot of people who like anime saw Death Note. And the people who are, like, really precious about it, that's a very small amount. It's probably 1 million people in America at most. Probably 500,000 people, right? So, but I think this weekend, the numbers who watched Death Note might be 5 or 10 or 15 million people, right? There are probably more people who watched Death Note 2017 this weekend than read the manga or watched the live-action anime, because it was packaged for a mainstream audience. And that is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant on Netflix's part. And I'm all for this. Like, I'm ready for the live-action Cowboy Bebop. I am ready for the live-action Modica Magica. I'm ready for the live-action Star Blazers. Bring them on. Bring them on. If you can bring me the level of quality and enjoyment that I had with Death Note, now, just a quick request to Netflix, tone it down a bit on the content. We didn't need all that language. I think it might have been less of a slasher flick. I would make these more PG-13 than rated R, personally. This is my 2 cents in there. But I really liked Death Note. I thought it was really good. And I think and Death Note 2017, I think, is a fundamentally important film. This is important because we have been waiting for the live-action American anime revolution for a long time, and it's never materialized. And Death Note is one of the first. It's one of the first times where. And the other thing is, on Netflix, everybody's like, hey, I could just sit down and watch a cool new movie. I'm already paying for the Netflix anyway. It's essentially free. So half the stuff that shows up on Netflix, for most Netflix viewers, you're already paying. Like, you're not paying extra. So when something really cool and unique shows up on it, it's really nice. I think it's awesome, right? So Death Note was really something special. I want to talk about the people who were in Death Note. So there are 4 people whose performances were so critical to Death Note that if any of these guys had done a bad job with their role, with their acting, this whole project could have went south, right? But I thought it was extremely well cast. So one, Adam Wingard, he did The Guest, which was a really unique horror film that showed a lot of talent, right? And Adam Wingard is like, yo, check me out. I'm in Hollywood. I'm a director. I'm the next James Cameron. Like, that guy is swinging for the fences with every project. And I like him. I like what he's doing. His next big one coming out is Godzilla vs. Kong. And I think he's going to do a great job with it. I'm very hyped for that movie. And so, he's doing his thing, man. It's all rolling forward, right? He did a very good job with this. Next was Nat Wolff. Now, Nat Wolff played Light, who is the main protagonist in Death Note 2017. I would like to be dismissive of Nat Wolff's performance because he is the star of The Fault in Our Paper Towns. I'm joking there. He was in 2 John Green movies, The Fault in Our Stars, and also additional to that, he was in Paper Towns. Now, I'm familiar with John Green's work because I have a daughter who reads everything he writes. He's a very talented writer. So she just tells me all the stories for each of the books, and and he has really captivated a generation of readers. Like, John Green is one of the most critically important fiction writers today, right? And I think he's a major talent because he's, my daughter is, I think she's an intellectual. She truly is an intellectual, and she just eats his books up like candy. And so anybody who can reach a millennial and have them reading actual paper books at a very high rate, that's a talented writer, in my opinion. And this guy Nat Wolff, he was in The Fault in Our Stars and in Paper Towns, and he did an excellent job here. I thought he was really fantastic as Light. I really thought he was excellent. I think, by the way, everyone in this movie, these 4 people I'm going to talk about, I think this is going to be very helpful to their career overall. Like, hopefully for the movie set, a lot of people want to be moving into, film is the top of the entertainment pile right now. And, and I hope they're able to move into movies rather than television, because I'm sure that's what they all want to do. All right. So, and then the next one is, so you have Nat Wolff, and then in addition to Nat Wolff, you have Lakeith Stanfield. So Lakeith Stanfield was from the movie Get Out. Okay. And Get Out was one of the best movies of 2016. You know what? Did Get Out come at the very beginning of 2017? I think it might have. Yeah. Get Out is a 2017 movie. Holy cows! All right. So Get Out, Lakeith Stanfield. He is from Get Out. He did an excellent job in that movie. And here as L, I thought he was the best actor in the entire project. His movement, the action scenes were phenomenal because of him. I think he brought an incredible amount of energy to the action scenes. His, just emoting with his face, all of that, all the things an actor does, stellar. And I thought, Stanfield was the real standout here. And then finally, you had Margaret Qualley. So Margaret Qualley is from The Nice Guys, which is, I think, like a 2015 movie with one of my favorite actors, if not my favorite actor, Ryan Gosling. And it was done by Shane Black. Shane Black is like a huge mega director from the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, really 80s and 90s. And he did a lot of really successful 80s, 90s blockbusters. And The Nice Guys was kind of trying to be a return to form for him. Russell Crowe was in there, and Margaret Qualley played Amelia in that film. So you have some extremely good talent in this. Oh, last but not least, William Dafoe. He does a fantastic job as Ryuk. Just really, really fantastic job as Ryuk. Very, very interesting. His portrayal of Ryuk, I thought it was spot on. And he worked hard. Like, that's another thing, is clearly William Dafoe, man, he's a worker. Like, you get him on your film, he's going to give you everything he's got. And I think that's one thing I really like about William Dafoe, is he just works, man. He just goes from film to film, tries to find good stuff, tries to find interesting stuff. And he's doing some great work nowadays. And I also am excited about the idea of William Dafoe being on set with, Lakeith Stanfield and Margaret Qualley and Nat Wolff. And just the idea of, hey, if we were lucky and William Dafoe was on, maybe he passed some of his acting tricks on to these guys. And I think that's exciting. That's really a cool thing to think about. And I think Death Note 2017 is a majorly important film. I think it was a brilliant move on the part of Netflix. I think they're going to make back way more money off of the people who subscribe to Netflix, because they see that Netflix has these unique properties like Death Note. And also, one of the things that I think is really important is I think it's going to be successful. Like, I know it wasn't a perfect film, but it was good. It was definitely a 4 out of 5 star film. And, and it was a delight to see on the weekend. I just turned it on, and here's Netflix giving me this cool new thing to watch, right? So if you have not if you have not read the manga and you've not watched the anime, you can go into this with fresh eyes. And you know what? I'll tell you, skip the anime. And the reason why is the anime is long. It's a bunch of, people need to realize, right? You got to get stuff to people fast nowadays. Everybody's busy, right? And so I think a lot of precious anime fans are going to just watch the anime. But the reality is, a lot of people don't have time to be sitting down and watching 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons of anything. Good Lord. Like, some of the anime that's out there, like One Piece, man, there's 700-800 episodes of that, right? So the idea of giving somebody a gateway into anime in a nice, concise package where you can sit down on an evening, and I feel like, okay, I know who L is. I know who Mia Sutton is. I know who Ryuk is. I know who Light is. I know the structure of Death Note. Now, and being able to deliver that in one concise package, that is pretty awesome. So I was really thrilled with Death Note 2017. The meta on it is absolutely fascinating. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.